So in today's video, I'm going to talk about the diversity statement. And this is a document which has become more and more important, and it's certainly required for many faculty applications, especially in the Western countries. Now, essentially, this particular statement has come up because if you go around and see the professoriate, you will find that in most countries this professoriate belong to the majority community, and there also they belong to the creme de la creme of the majority community. So increasingly, as the societies become more diverse in terms of race, religion, gender, and some other variables, what happens is that there is a dichotomy between the professoriate and the student community. So the professors who are teaching belong to a certain group or class of people, and the students belong to a different group or class of people. Now, by itself, this is not a problem, except that people give a lot of importance to their lived experience. So it is very difficult for a person who is coming from a certain class, let us say a person from a Caucasian male background, to understand the problems and the experiences which a person who is a black female goes through. It's virtually impossible to contemplate this kind of lived experience by a different person. And therefore, these things become extremely important, especially in the humanities and social science domains, because a lot of the work which goes on in these humanities and social science domains tries to address the issues faced by society and humanities at large, and therefore the person who is viewing the society or the human beings takes a very subjective view of the world. And despite the best efforts which they make, these views of the world have become more or less fixed based on their personal experiences. So because of some of these aspects, there is a push from the top management and administration and governments of different states and countries and systems that there should be increasing diversity in the professoriate, and therefore you are asked to write a diversity statement. Now, essentially, if you are somebody from the minority community, it is much easier to write the diversity statement because you have a lived experience. But you should try to package your lived experience such that it relates to the well-being and upliftment of the university by increasing diversity. Because what the university is looking for is somebody who will be a role model for the newer generation of students, who will also bring in a different perspective to the university in the different meetings and so on, and therefore will change the direction of the university and its future in some tangential manner. Now, it is important at this point to be able to demonstrate some of these aspects as to how you bring diversity to the table. So just like I mentioned, if you are coming from a minority background in a particular situation, it is easier to demonstrate diversity. Now, diversity changes depending on the field. So for example, if you are an Asian male, you may be ubiquitous in the science and technology domains, but you may be a minority in the fields such as journalism or humanities or social sciences. So it may be possible that you may be able to make a bigger impact on these fields because you will bring a different lived experience to these fields. On the contrary, if you are a Caucasian woman, you may be represented as a large majority in many fields such as humanities, social sciences, and so on. But you may be somebody who can bring a new dimension to fields such as science and technology. And again, these things become important because when you go on and join different companies, even the products which come out of these companies have a certain lack of diversity in them. So by the very fact that you are creating a more diverse group of engineers and scientists, you are also addressing the problems which are facing these particular people, because engineers are typically problem solvers, and different type of people being trained in engineering will certainly help to address the different type of problems which are faced by different people. Therefore, we need diversity in engineering and science from across the genders, from across countries, from across religions, and so on. And that is something very important. So now, what do you write in a diversity statement? Typically, a diversity statement may be a page or two. Most likely it is one page. And here you can bring out some of your experiences in terms of how you have tried to increase diversity in the system, how you believe that diversity is an important goal for the university. You can link your particular diversity statement to some statement which has been issued by the university, for example, the university president, as to what are the aims of the university in terms of diversity. And typically these statements will tie diversity as a goal of the university to increase its reach into the world at large, into the community, as well as to use diversity to amplify the research experience of the different people, and also to produce research which is more relevant to the world as it is today and not to the world as it has gone by. So again, this statement is highly personal, somewhat like the statement of purpose which you write when you apply for college. And therefore, I wouldn't give any direct prescription on this, because it would be different depending on your lived experience. But in all these cases, make sure that you support the cause of diversity and you actually believe in the cause of diversity. Because I think that if you do not believe in the cause of diversity, then getting into university and educational systems is not going to be a pleasant experience for you. And you will find that the liberal values of the university will typically run counter to your personal values. In that case, I would suggest that you explore different options, such as going into the corporate sector, starting your own company, and so on. Because in those kind of situations, you can carve your own path and you really do not have to deal with a large number of students. Because students typically are able to figure out from the different professors and their body language and their way of talking and behavior as to whether this person is really a benevolent and good person as far as diversity is concerned, or he or she carries certain predilections with regard to race, gender, nationality, and so on. So again, this was my take on the diversity statement, which is becoming one of the new documents which you need to give in the university package. And I hope you benefit from this video. Thank you very much for listening to me, and stay tuned to my channel for more such videos.